Okay. Dear participants of ImagineIF program, partners from Innovation Forum Cambridge, distinguished speakers, and dear guests. It is my great pleasure to welcome you here to the first event that will mark the beginning of local competition of this year's ImagineIF 2020. ImagineIF is a unique global initiative aimed to foster innovation in healthcare industry by providing specific support to startup teams. This program encourages passionate entrepreneurs to unleash the innovation potential of health tech industry and to build Serbia as a leader in terms of development and application of these solutions globally. For the realization of the program, we owe special gratitude to the British Embassy in Serbia, as well as to our strong network of partners. Big thanks also to all sponsors that recognize the value of the program. This year's platinum sponsor is Roche. Gold sponsor of the program is AstraZeneca, while bronze sponsors are Belmedic, Swisscontact, and Oxquant. Our cocktail networking will be more enjoyable with Alex Winery. During today's event, top 12 teams will present their business ideas, while leading health tech experts will give us short lectures on health tech trends and opportunities in this field. At the beginning, I will call Stasha Stankovic, PhD student in genomic medicine at the University of Cambridge and founder of Innovation Forum Cambridge, to address the audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nevena, for your introduction. Firstly, let me wish you all a very warm welcome to the Science Technology Park, which somehow from the event to event manages to gather the most talented, open-minded, inspiring, and I would say coolest innovators in our ecosystem. I would describe this place as one of the few places in our ecosystem where innovations in different sectors are actually being born purposely to answer the unmet need, but also a place where their development is being boosted to support the growth of local ecosystem and become internationally competitive. Having said that, it was a natural consequence for Innovation Forum to partner with Science Technology Park and Health Tech Lab to initiate our mission for the acceleration of the healthcare innovation globally, and for the first time in the region of the Balkans. The Innovation Forum is a global organization with a presence in more than 20 cities around the world, with strategic locations in the top 20 world universities, including Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, Cambridge, ETH, and many others. Its mission is to drive innovative technology development in local ecosystems where it operates and to accelerate scientific entrepreneurship by building connections between academia, industry, investor communities, and the healthcare sector. It supports the entrepreneurial ideas oriented towards social need, economic and academic development of the country to really answer critical questions around health and well-being that society faces. Most importantly, I would say the Innovation Forum fosters the amelioration of the local ecosystem and provides the very stable platform for an international exposure and collaboration. One of the key advantages of the Innovation Forum is a rich network of partners and collaborators that are leaders in the innovative and cutting-edge practice, the ones that provide actually the new standards of healthcare and shape its further development. Those are the leading companies such as Roche, AstraZeneca, GSK, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and many others. One of the main projects that Innovation Forum is running is the ImagineIF, a competition and an acceleration program organized to really identify disruptive ideas emerging from local ecosystems in different countries around the world, and then accelerate these ideas into businesses by providing access to mentorship, partners in our network, as well as funding. We are very honored and grateful to have more than 50 experts from different fields, including medicine, science, technology, pharmacology, and business, decided to delegate their time to help our startups to grow their ideas further. The experts who will work with our teams this year come from all over the world, including Serbia, America, Israel, Switzerland, the United Kingdom. The local acceleration of Serbian startups will last 3 months, after which the winning startup will be prepared to pitch their idea at the global competition of ImagineIF in Barcelona in October this year. Last year, when the Innovation Forum partnered with Health Tech Lab and Science Technology Park, the only thing, we were really proud to say that we are actually the very first accelerator for startups in healthcare in Serbia. Today, for us, maybe the biggest achievement is that we actually managed to shook up the ecosystem and partner with key leaders to bring you the second round of ImagineIF. I'm very grateful for our amazing sponsors that Nevena mentioned, including Roche and AstraZeneca, as well as Belmedic Hospital, Oxquan, and Swiss Contact. This just tells us how successful our mission was to really awake our local ecosystem and attract the key players to join our game and really push all the boundaries that we approach to break the barriers, build fantastic international collaborations, attract enough money that will support the rise of healthcare innovations in Serbia, and get the world-known experts who will work with our people, share their successful or less successful experiences in order to manage to successfully integrate these innovations in everyday practice with a really final aim to help our patients. The beauty of this program is that we actually manage to put together almost all scientific and academic institutions in the healthcare sector that operate in Serbia, which is the key for bridging the gap between science and industry and the birth of disruptive ideas. We gather here today to initiate our second round of acceleration. So lastly, I just want to tell you to enjoy our program today and really stay excited for the future progress of our startups. And I'm very much looking forward to see you in May this year when we will have our local final competition and choose the best Serbian startup that will continue its acceleration and take part of the global competition. Lastly, good luck to all of the startups.
Thank you, Stasha, for bringing this initiative to our country. Okay, I will now ask Ivana Bezarević, PR and Marketing Coordinator of STP Belgrade, to address the audience.
Thank you, Nevena. Dear partners, dear mentors, dear sponsors, and dear guests, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Science Technology Park Belgrade for the first event of ImagineIF Serbia 2020. It is our honor to be part of such a great initiative and to be able to offer startups mentor support, as well expertise and support from Innovation Forum Cambridge. Science Technology Park Belgrade is the first science technology park in Serbia, and currently we are host and support more than 70 startups and growing high-tech companies, among which of increasing number of those actually dealing with health tech sectors. During 4 years of operating, more than 100 companies and startups and teams went through our supported programs, and a few hundred of innovative products and services developed here. Also, we have developed and implemented 7 different and intensive support startup programs, and more than 500 students and young engineers were trained for entrepreneurship. Together with our partners, Innovation Forum Cambridge and Health Tech Lab, we implemented this amazing Imagine If program that support health tech startups, recognizing that Serbia is the world known for its great health experts and scientists who can motivate young people to develop health-related innovation and to attract investors interested in investing in health tech solutions. As we already heard, the first group of startups went through this Imagine If program last year, and we are very pleased with their innovative solution. Now, once again, we want to motivate and to inspire more and more business ideas in health tech sector and to promote the importance of health tech innovations. Big thanks to all of you that supported these programs, UK Embassy, all mentors, sponsors, and our partners. I would like to wish us all a productive event today. Also, I would like to congratulate all startups finalists of Imagine If 2020. I wish you good workshops and a good learning process in the following days. Give your best and use all opportunities. Good luck and thank you.
Thank you, Ivana. Now I will call the other Ivana, the representative of Health Tech Lab organization.
Thank you, Nevena. First of all, I won't take a lot of time. I'm excited to hear all the lectures today. Also, I'm very thrilled to be here second year in a row representing Health Tech Lab, the local Serbian health tech ecosystem. We support health tech innovations, we create them, and we actually support their growth through partnerships and collaborations, both local and international, as this with Innovation Forum Cambridge, but also with health tech ecosystems of Austria, Switzerland, Israel, US, and many other members of European Connected Health Alliance. Now to the startups, I wish you all good luck. I wish you to seize every opportunity of mentors and workshops that we have provided for you. And also I would like to tell you to make your visions a reality, if not within these next 3 months, then as soon as possible, because the patients are waiting for your solutions. Good luck and thank you all.
Thank you, Ivana. So what's next? The next part of this program is Imagine If Bootcamp, which will take place from today until the end of May, when we will select the winning team of this Serbian local competition. That winning team will access the global competition, where they will have opportunity to pitch their idea in front of the world's biggest innovations in this field. What is also very important in this part is that that team will have a great opportunity to have additional support from global experts, and also we are very happy to see our innovative solutions have approached the global markets. Speaking of teams, we really owe special gratitude to our mentors who will work intensively during these 3 months and who will bring really invaluable experience in bringing their knowledge to make them access further development. Before we get to know the teams, we will have like 3 inspiring lectures on industry change drivers. Okay, Galenica is one of the most important actors in Serbian pharmaceutical industry, and how digital medical tools is an engine of Galenica's growth will be presented by Dr. Branko Anđelković. Mr. Anđelković, the floor is yours.
I will be here, close to you. Firstly, I would like to thank you because of this great opportunity to be a part of a wonderful event. I'm absolutely honored to be today with you because all of you You are the best of the best. Not best of the best because of your knowledge, because of your skills, but best of the best because we are in the center of great ideas, passion, and courage. That is very important for startup business. I was in startup business. I know by myself what is important, believe me. My presentation will be divided into two different parts. First part, in few slides, I will represent some facts related to Galenica, one of the biggest players on the pharmaceutical market of Serbia. I will give you a clear picture about Galenica, what was happened over the few past years, and then we will step into the field of digital tools that we want to implement, that we have idea to implement on the Serbian market. So, you probably noted that I'm a marketing manager for the RX portfolio, responsible for RX marketing, marketing of RX products, for a little bit for business development, for 100 to 10,000 different tasks on daily basis, but that is not so important. What is important? Actually, Galenica was acquired in 2017 by the biggest pharmaceutical leader on Brazil market. So we became a member of big family company EMS with 55 years tradition. And what does it mean for Galenica? Galenica actually celebrates 75 years this year. It is a jubilee year for us. What does it mean, this acquired process for Galenica? We opened the window for new steps that we will make over the coming years. We opened the possibility to develop our business in different markets. That was not possible before we got new owner. On the top of the hill of all pharmaceutical companies, you have NC Group, you have corporations, we have NC Group. And NC Group was established in 2014, and it is owned by, 100% owned by family of Sanchez, led by Mr. Carlos Sanchez, with sales turnover of $3 billion US. EMS and NC Group together, they are leaders of the market, the Brazilian market. Our mother company is a leader of the Brazilian market. 13 years, last 13 years. They are leaders in the market of Latin America, not just on Brazil. We are talking about 200,000 population in Brazil, so big country. 10 different companies operate inside the NC Group, and 7,000 employees. So we are present in 40 different countries. On this slide, you can see some logos of companies in pharma business that operate inside the NC Group. You can see Galenica, of course, and I will highlight Brace Pharma that is connected with innovative business, because we are generic company in the base, but we are also connected with some innovations in the field of pharma industry. Everyone likes awards. We like awards. We like awards. So I will highlight those connected with high technological standard and innovations we strive for on daily basis. This slide I prepared because of startup. EMS started as a startup with small pharmacy in 1950s with vision or spirit of Emiliano Sanchez. He was owner at that moment. And then, after a few years, his son, Carlos Sanchez, our current CEO, continued to develop the company and created the base of sustainable business in the coming years. Today, EMS is a modern company focused on innovations, incremental innovations. What does it mean for the in pharma industry? We have a different project in terms of creating new combinations of drugs that are not established on the global market. Then we have biologics, because that is the future of the therapy in pharma industry. We have, something went wrong. We have, of course, social, ecological responsibility. We are one of the main sponsors of the biggest biodiversity in the planet. We are talking about Amazon forest. And we have services. That is something that I want to highlight in my next slides. Services. EMS has idea to develop medical service for healthcare institutions that will help on daily basis professionals, that will help them to treat patients better, that will become some kind of digital advisor for professionals. And we will follow this idea on the Serbian market. What does it mean, everything that I mentioned for Galenica, and what we did actually over the last 2 years? This top of the mountain wasn't so visible for us before new owner. And we finished 2018 on the 4th position on the Serbian market. We are talking about market of 350 different registered companies here. But we did great job in 2019, and we jumped from this 4th position to the 2nd position on the market. So all others are behind us, except one. And now we are focused on that one. We are focused on the 1st position because we want to become top 1 leader on the Serbian market. Because we have to be top 1 here if we want to develop our business over the globe. In 2018, we used for business consolidation. Then we extended our team with new members. And finally, we will use 2020 for some kind of startup in the digital tools development that will help us to have more competitive advantage than others. Why? Because we want to be first one. If you want to be first one, you have to be somebody who will create standards, not somebody who will follow standards. That is very important. If you want to implement new idea, you have to be somebody who will create standards, not somebody who will be the follower. Because if you will be the followers, you will always be the second one. We have idea to start with implementation in 2020 with 3 projects. First one, drug interaction checker, DI checker. Somebody will think that it's not, will think that is not a new idea, but it is new idea, you will see. Ask an expert and therapy assistant. 3 different projects in the field of healthcare system. What was the base of our idea? Based on IQVIA data published in 2019, we found that just 30% of physicians use digital sources of professional information. Just 30% over the globe. In Serbia, probably less. And that is not everything. Just 1% of all digital sources, digital tools in the field of healthcare systems are sponsored by pharma industry. So we have huge space for developing. So we have great opportunity to create something unique, to be pioneer, to be leaders in this field of development. Let's start with our first idea, drug interaction checker. The main issues that we noted are listed here. You can see we have a number of registered drugs. At this moment, we have more than 800 INNs, which means 5 to 7 brands per INN. So we are talking about a number of different therapy options that physicians can use on daily basis. Can you imagine how is tricky for him, for her, to know everything, each single detail about each single product? That is impossible, I can tell you. Then we have limited time of healthcare professionals, just 10 to 15 minutes to finish with patients from starting point to the end. And finally, we have different software solutions integrated in healthcare institutions. At this moment in Serbia, we have 17. Absolutely different, developed by different companies. They do not share nothing, actually. And what Galenica wants to offer? We want to offer Galenica Cloud service that will communicate with integrated software in healthcare systems, some kind of service for service concept. What does it mean? If we will approach our physicians with new solution, with new software, with new tool, they will say, no chance. If we will say, that will help you, yes, but that's something new, again new. In last few years, I have 3 of Brancos who came here with something new. I do not want nothing new, because I have 15 minutes for my patient. If I will use that time for additional one tool, I will not have enough time for my patient. Additionally, we will have Galenica online service available for professionals and Galenica mobile application available for professionals. But this is the first one, is the base of our idea. Why? What we will provide with this service? We will provide data for the software solutions that are deficient with data. What data? SMPCs. SMPC is summary of product characteristics. And we will be focused on drug interaction because there are a number of different possible drug interactions when you want to treat your patient. So our DI checker will provide data. Then we will have physician, and finally as a consumer patient, who will be treated with some drug. And what we want actually, in the end, we want to have some kind of digital medical advisor. I will give you an example, because real life is something that is more attractive if you will present like this. Can you imagine, try to imagine one patient. He's coming to his physician because of some problems. He has anxiety disorder, and he should be treated with, for example, alprazolam. That is a benzodiazepine indicated for the treatment of anxiety and panic disorder. In 2019, 3.6 million units are sold on this market. 3.6, 22 million units in all benzodiazepine group. 22 million units in 7 million people. So you used 3, I used 3 pack in 2019. that is central nervous system. But together with this problem, our patient has problem with hypertension. And we have diltiazem. 350,000 units sold in 2019. And finally, he has additional problem, fungal infection. So this patient should be treated with 3 different drugs. And what does it mean? It means that we can be very good doctors if we will treat each single part of his condition. No, it's not true. Because of drug interactions. If you will use combination of alprazolam and diltiazem, diltiazem will increase the level of effects of alprazolam. So you will have some adverse effect that you will not want to see. So you have to change your dose of the drug. If you will combine intraconazole and diltiazem, you will additionally have some adverse effect. And finally, if you will combine alprazolam and intraconazole, you should think about new approach for your patient. So, at the first point, you decided to treat condition of your patient, and you have 3 conditions. But when you will treat independently that each single condition, you will be faced with adverse effects that are not acceptable. And you have to be, a physician, has to be aware of it. Somebody, he needs help. Is it possible to be aware of all information included in SMPC? I'm telling you again, it is not possible. We are talking about number of pages, and it is not possible, especially in 15 minutes when you have to decide quickly how to treat your patient. Because the good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease. That's the point. And what we want actually to create in the end. The first step, we have physician who is treating his patient. And he is trying to treat patient, to resolve problem of his patient. But he has possibility to be exposed, this patient has possibility to be exposed to different adverse effects. We saw that in previous slides. So what will our cloud service will do? That software integrated in healthcare institution during the daily clinical practice of a physician will call Galenica Checker through API. Galenica Checker search and analyze complementary SMPCs. He will try to find, is there any possible interaction between 2, 3, 4, 5 different therapy options. Galenica Checker sent back data based on the searching result. Software displays the data using pop-up message. It will not be mandatory for the physician because we cannot be, somebody who will tell the physician that is not good. We will tell there is possibility to expose your patients to some adverse effect that you are not welcome to see. So we will help them to be smarter, but not be some kind of supervisor. We will help them with pop message, possible interactions, and we will show those interactions. And physician will make final decision. And he will, or she will be better physician in the end. That's the point of our service. Actually, that will be some kind of unique solution that builds bridge between real needs and real life. Because real life is, you know, he's sitting in front of his patient. He has to have a fast decision, and he has to, and he do not want to see additional one tool. He just want to see something presented in his, in the tool that he is using on daily basis. Second one project, I'll speed up. Second one project, ask an expert. You know, if you are living here in Serbia, it's not so easy, but it's not so, sometimes it's not so complicated to find expert, because here in Serbia we know, you know, neighborhood who know somebody, you know, everyone knows everyone, you know. But sometimes it's not so easy to approach experts. Even though we are talking about patients or professionals. So we will provide channel of communication with mobile application. We will have 1 week, one expert, 3 hot topics. And we will pay fees for those key opinion leaders who will communicate with patients and who will communicate with professionals. So Galenica will be sponsor on this communication channel. And finally, based on the patient questions, we will publish a video and texts, attractive video and texts. The third one, and I am close to the end of my presentation, Galenica Therapy Assistant. We want to create mobile application that patient can use, scan product barcode or QR code of our products, and he can get full information about drug by listening or by reading. Then he can create reminder for his therapy, and finally he will have channel for the communication with Galenica. How? He can ask Galenica everything about this drug. He can ask about possible adverse effect, about therapy indications, label indication, off-label indication, etc. And of course, we want to improve our presence in symposiums and congresses. How we will have some kind of virtual reality video in our booths, and then we will have different approach in Galenica Symposium. Maybe some of you can help us with those projects. I will be happy if that will be true. And in the end, I'll just mention one good project, because great ideas are already here behind the corner. CardioPal. This one already developed project in the, I think, final stage of implementation, some kind of close to final stage. And we are talking about a pocket medical device that chains 10 cables and qualified persons. You can use this, you know. I tested this. You know, we are talking about ECG, and you can put here, and for 30 seconds you have full correct data, full correct, without cables, without professionals, without everything. And that software inside will communicate with your physician. And if something is emergency, and if something will happen with the patient, software will call emergency care and send GPS location. It's a very good project. And Galenica will be a part of it for sure. Finally, last slide, finally. You know, you're always listening about comfort zone. Don't play in comfort zone for a long time, because you will not progress. But I like to use this sentence. A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. So find your own storm. Thank you very much. Excuse me. I thought that we will talk about my presentation in the end, but if you have any questions, please. Please.
First of all, congratulations for the project. Seems like good value.
Thank you.
My question is, will this platform only incorporate Galenica's products, or will it work across broadly?
The first one, all products. So we want to offer something unique for the professionals. We want to include all SMPCs, all information about all drugs, because they are not using just Galenica. It will not be helpful. That will be just ad, but we do not want to have ad. We want to offer for the professionals one good service, not directly connected with cost benefit for Galenica, but building brand awareness of the company. Yes.
Thank you very much. And the other question is, its recommendations. Will it maybe prioritize Galenica's products, or?
No, we will not do it. We will not do it. Actually, it will be full. Yeah. Any other questions? Those projects are in the first stage of development, so maybe you can be a part of it. I will be glad to hear something about that. Thank you.
It's just a quick one. Is this about global innovation initiative within our group, or this is Galenica only?
This is only Galenica. But we will start with Serbia with the idea to implement this in other markets. Everything depends on the legislation. We do not have the same legislation everywhere, but we will start from Serbia. We have one site now here in Serbia. We will start with that site. We will start with that institution, have some kind of beta version, and then we will continue to develop in each single institution that are interested in.
Tested already the idea with your stakeholders, physicians?
No, this is the first stage. We just now we have idea, and we have some initial contacts with developers. We got sometimes some, some of them discourage us, but we are not discouraged. We said, okay, we are full focus in it. We will find a way. Probably, maybe some of you can help us to find a way. Because it is not so easy, but it is achievable. It is, for sure it's achievable. We have some similar platforms, but we are talking about web platforms. We are not talking about service that will provide additional value for already integrated softwares used in healthcare institutions. That is unique part. It's not unique part to have drug interaction checker. It is not unique, but present that on the way I mentioned, like using pop-up or something like that. I'm doctor. Maybe we can use something else, not pop-up. I know pop-up. That is innovative. That is something different, We will not offer additional one. We will offer just additional one functionality. Of course. I will be glad to hear something about it. I like this approach because here we have possibility to build the bridge between industry and innovators. That was the point in the beginning of and that here today I am in behalf of Galenica to try to make all of those steps with you. If there is no question anymore, thank you.
Thank you, Branko, once again. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Svetlana Ibrić, full professor at the Faculty of Pharmacy and founder of 3D Pharm Lab. Svetlana, thank you.
Good afternoon. Well, it's a great pleasure for me to be here today and to be part of this event. Firstly, I would like to say thanks to Ivana and to Health Tech Lab who invited me here. And also I would like to congratulate to all startup finalists. I wish you good luck and a good journey during these 2 months of learning, and I think that it will be exciting. Well, what is my topic today? I will show you and speak a little bit about 3D Pharm Lab that we have at the Faculty of Pharmacy. This doesn't work. Okay, where are we coming from? We are from Belgrade, University of Belgrade, Faculty of Pharmacy. As you can see, big white building in Kumodraž. I invite you to visit us and to see what we have there. Actually, we are for Department of Pharmaceutical Technology. What we are doing and what we are teaching our students. Well, our main topic is to formulate drugs, different dosage forms, and we are quite good at this. We are developing drug formulation as well as production of drugs of every type of dosage forms. Not only formulation and process, but also we are research how that drug. What is actually the how a drug delivers when some patient takes it? So we can tailor drug release, and we can formulate drugs to release at the exact time or in some time manner, what would you like, or it can be immediate, delayed, or modified release. Well, we collaborate with all pharmaceutical companies in Serbia as well as in Balkan region and wider. And I would like to just one sentence to tell you something about pharmaceutical industry now. Well, pharmaceutical industry at the moment is part of big industry in the world, and it enters into I think fourth industrial revolution. So you can hear frequently words like Internet of Things or digitalization or smart manufacturing, and that's all true. That's great, and it's really exciting. But on the other side, when you think about pharmaceutical manufacturing, all manufacturers have goals to produce millions and billions of tablets. And for example, if you have a headache and you take aspirin, 500 milligrams of aspirin, have you ever think about that? Is it correct dose for you or no? Is it correct if I take 500 milligrams of aspirin, or my 16-year-old daughter, or 80 years old mother, or my husband who has 30 kilograms more than me? So that's concept that for pharmaceutical industry is to make drugs that fits one dose for all. Actually isn't correct. And with the development of pharmacogenomics, we now know that for some people that dose will be correct, but for some people they need lower doses, some of them need higher doses, and maybe some of them needs some alternative medication. So concept of personalized therapy is actually great challenge in pharmacy, in pharmaceutics today, especially if we talk of very sensitive population like pediatrics or geriatric patients who needs some adjustment of doses, or for example, for patients who needs many different drugs at the same time in polytherapy, you know, when patient has to take 4 or 5 medicine at the same time, it's really challenging. And if we change doses, then can we change shapes and sizes of tablets, for example? It is also a challenge for us. So we thought, and I put it here, imagine if. Imagine if you can go to the pharmacy and their pharmacist gets email from your physician which contains data about your age and your diagnosis and what dose you need. And then pharmacists maybe can prepare tablets just for you with the right dose that you need. And this could be fantastic. I hope that you agree with me. So we tried with this idea to, what if we can prepare, for example, filaments with drug and excipient, and if we have 3D printer that can print that filament, then we can prepare tablets with dose that is tailored for patient needs. And that was the reason that we established 3D Pharm Lab. It is the first and the only 3D Pharm Lab for medicine printing in Serbia, and I also think in region. You can see some pictures from our lab. At the moment, we have 3D technologies. We just work with these 3D technologies. First one is fused deposition modeling. I will show you in next slides how it works. Then stereolithography and powder bed fusion. The first one, this is fused deposition modeling. It works in that way that we mixed drug and excipients, and through extrusion process, we made filaments, and then that filaments are printed in a 3D printer. In that way, we are trying to achieve this drug release profiles. You can combine, as you can see on these pictures, different drugs in one capsule or tablet. Also, you can achieve different drug release profiles in that way that, for example, one drug is released immediately and some other drug is releasing in a time that you want. So you can achieve prompt release or delayed or extended release of drugs. Also, you can print out the shape and size, whatever you like. So maybe it could be more acceptable for the patients, especially if we speak about pediatric population or about patients who have difficulties with swallowing. Another technology is photopolymerization. Actually, we mixed drug and soluble resins, and then during the process of printing, under the laser, this mixture solidify and we prepare tablets. The third technology is different. We use powders in a solid state, mixture of powders, and under the laser sintering. There is laser sintering, and that is the way that tablets can be prepared. At the moment, we have 3 3D printers. We have 7 PhD students from 4 countries that are working on the different projects. We are trying to promote ourselves. Last year, for example, we have an international summer school at our faculty. We have, at the moment, several published papers. And the most important, we have enthusiasm, we are hardworking, and we are networking. And in here are the members of our 3D lab, so raise your hands and say hello to everyone. So thank you, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can see what we are doing. Thank you.
I have a question. talking about 3D printing on site, right?
Yes.
What's happened with the industry itself?
Well, at the moment, because this is research, we work on that on site, but I think that maybe in the future it will be applicable also in the industry. I know that some research centers, for example, in Slovenia, work on some projects that are 3D printed, yes. Yes. You're welcome. Okay. Yes.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. When do you see 3D printers in pharmacies actually? So how far away from today?
Well, I'm not sure, but many research groups in the world and in Europe work on that. At the moment, I know we are part of one task force in Germany. Germany has a big society of pharmaceutical technologists, and they have established task force with these problems. They try to solve these problems. There are many questions rising, and I think that we are not close to realization in the pharmacy, but I think that it's fast going. So I think that maybe in few years, let's see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana. After being ill for years, Roy Sternin started a medical revolution from his bed. I'm really excited to hear the story from this amazing startup entrepreneur. Roy?
Best presentation ever. I love it. Hi guys, nice to meet you. Do you see me well with the camera? Like this stationary camera? I want to keep my... yeah? Hi. Can you hear me without mic? Yeah?
But YouTube cannot.
Sorry? YouTube. No problem. I can rap too. No. Hi. Great. So, nice to meet you again. My name is Roy. I'm from Israel, from Tel Aviv. I currently live in the beautiful city of Vienna. And I came especially for these 2 days. I'm going to mentor tomorrow the startups that are here with a workshop about prototyping and finding the right way to manage your product idea. But I wanted to share a story with you that might inspire some of you and connect you to the place that you started your startup, because along the way as a startup we kind of forget about life itself. It's so hard to be so focused in one project, in one product, that we sometimes forget the roots of why did we start this crazy journey. Because the easiest thing to do is to go and be an employee and not to do a startup. A startup is the hardest thing you can do. But I'm so glad to see startups all over the world. I've been to 9 countries in the last 10 days, and it's amazing to see how many young people are choosing really the most difficult vertical of all. Like to take health or digital health or digital therapies or medical devices is the hardest part, because we're dealing with regulations and medical societies and security and safety and all these protocols. But what's more important? So I want to show you a picture of mine. I'm not going to have a lot of slides, but this is me in 2000 and I think it's 8. This is my home. It looks like Belgrade a bit. My hometown look a bit like Belgrade, but your food is better, I think. And I was 24, something like this, and I weighed 48 kilos. Yeah, now I'm 88 kilos. This is a big jump. I'm still happy because a friend came to visit me. It took me 1 hour to get from my bedroom to this porch, which was 10 meters apart. And I had to crawl on the floor to get and sit on this chair. So throughout my talk, I'm going to leave this picture. So you always have this mental image of how can you change your life and others people's life. My entire dream in life is to become a doctor. That was my dream since I was a child. And I didn't think about anything more noble than helping people medically. I didn't think it was possible to even reach a level of novelty in any other profession. And I was this annoying kid who plays with this plastic stethoscope and checks everyone. And I have stories from all the family about it. But, you know, it's a dream. And you need to do something to achieve this dream. And in Israel, we have an obstacle. Before you go to university, you have to go to the army. And this country has seen war, I'm afraid, too. So you know how it's like not to live in a very peaceful place all the time. And you go to the army, and it's not like Austrian army, right? It's not about avalanches and stuff like this. We actually we've been to war. I've been to a special forces unit. I've been a medic, and I've been fired at 3 times. They didn't hit me, luckily. And I've seen a lot of combat, I'm afraid. And it was a very tough time in Israel. Between the year 2000 and 2004, we had more than 1,000 people dying from suicide bombing and attacks. My street, the one that you see down, if you see this building, downstairs, we had 6 suicide bombing in the street and 1 mass shooting event. So I was a soldier. Every time I came home, I changed the uniform to the Red Cross uniform as a volunteer. And I'm afraid that I was not lucky to be in 12 different attacks in my hometown and neighboring towns. And people don't think about it so often, but I think that traumatic events can also, not only think, it's research-based, can also cause autoimmune diseases. I sustained an injury in the army, and I had this very traumatic event, and I started to feel very bad afterwards. And when you go to an army doctor and you're very strong and you're in a special forces unit, he thinks that you probably want to be a slacker. You want to rest. And you cannot rest in the army. You need to be a man, right? So it's not only that patients are being not treated well outside in the real world. Imagine what it's like to be in the army when you're in the most healthy population, around 18 to 21. So doctors usually dismiss you. So for 6 months, I presented symptoms, doctors dismissed me, and eventually I became like this, and the army didn't know what to do with me. So they discharged me honorably because I couldn't serve anymore after 2 years. And I thought maybe I'll get better, maybe somebody will find a cure. But after a lot of testing in the community health services, they didn't find anything. And what I have probably today that I know is I had a remission of my illness. So I felt a bit better. So I volunteered to do 1 year in the Red Cross. So straight from the army, every day in the ambulances, again, going to those really tough events until one day my body collapsed, finally. And I was actually doing my last shift as a paramedic. And my friends held a party for me. We did barbecue, not good Serbian barbecue, but we did Israeli barbecue. And it was 2 weeks before I was supposed to start medical school. I was enrolled into a medical school in Italy, in the city of Bologna. They have a very good food, but very good medical school as well. And everything seems okay. I felt better. I was gaining a bit of weight. I looked better. I was active. I had very strange symptoms. I used to feel very dizzy all the time. My joint hurts. I had rashes. I had blackouts. But doctors didn't find anything, and doctors know everything. So I keep on going. So we have this barbecue. We celebrate. There is a call, and ambulance 39, you have a call, and so you have to run to the ambulance or walk very fast to the ambulance, because if you run to the ambulance, you can fall and too much adrenaline. So you walk very fast to the ambulance. And why I tell you exactly how I walked to the ambulance is very important, because I got up from sitting and started to walk very fast to the ambulance. The ambulance is like this wall, very close to me. And while I got up, I felt very, very strange, and I started to walk toward the ambulance. My legs became very, very heavy. My body became very strange. I saw kind of fuzzy things in my eyes. I tried to open the door of the ambulance, and the world became dark. I wake up, and I see white lights. I hear the siren, which is a good thing when you're going to an ambulance, but I'm on the wrong side of the ambulance, which is not a nice thing to have, and I'm being rushed to hospital this time. The problem is that when you're very young, I was not even 22, and you're being rushed to a hospital, and your colleagues are the one being taking care of you, it's a very strange kind of experience, because there is a bias. You're this nice guy from the Red Cross, everybody knows you, you're healthy, but your symptoms say otherwise. We have very, very good medical system in Israel. I don't know if you heard about it. We have one of the top 10 hospitals in the world in Tel Aviv. We have very good doctors training. The problem is that all around the world, doctors are working too hard. And the doctor who took care of me, and the day before we had a shift together, worked for 32 hours. And he was very tired. And by the symptoms I presented, the decision was that me at the age of 21 is having a heart attack. Very rare, very strange. I've been a paramedic for like almost 10 years. I never seen anybody with this age group present this kind of symptoms, which is not a panic attack. Anyway, they start to do the examination, they do ECG, they take blood. I had a problem back then that my blood work for the heart attack was positive because I lost so much weight, so my CPK was crazy, and I'm not going to speak a lot of medicine to you, but I was very ill, so the doctor thought by looking at these examinations that I really having a heart attack. They started a medical protocol, and they missed one thing. One of the drugs you give in the protocol of treating heart attacks is from the groups of nitrates. And it takes the load off the heart, but it lowers the blood pressure tremendously. They didn't look at the monitor. I had 80 systolic blood pressure. And my knowledge as a paramedic is not like the doctor, but I kind of do 1 + 1 = 2. Like, okay, I'm going to die or get a stroke right now if they give me this medication. I try to say something, but then they say, no, we're the doctors, you're the patient, you don't know anything. And we start to have this struggle, which eventually what I did was to hold the hand of the doctor and fight him. I rolled over the bed because I refused to get this medication, and I saved my own life. Because afterwards, he apologized to me and he told me I was just too tired and I didn't look at the monitor. And this is the first time in my life that I thought that doctors are human and they can make mistakes. But unfortunately, not the last time. You have to forgive my voice. I gave like 5 talks in this week and I lost my voice. So I hope everybody understands my English. Thank you. They sent me off to the internal ward, which is not a place for young people. Okay, everybody's kind of very old. I'm very young. They don't have a bed for me. I'm in the corridor on a bed, very humiliated. Nobody listened to me. I spend a week there. They do all sorts of tests. And then they decide that I probably had a panic attack and all these symptoms are just a coincidence. So they give me a medication for my rash, medication for my stomach, medication for the blood pressure, millions of medications, but no diagnosis. And they send me home and they tell me, probably in 2-3 weeks you'll be okay. Maybe it's even a virus, maybe it's like Epstein-Barr or something like this, which they were right, by the way. And I think that everything is going to be okay. I call my medical school, I tell them, don't worry, I'm coming, hold my spot. But unfortunately, I couldn't go to medical school because those 2 weeks became 2 months. After 3 months, I cannot leave bed anymore. I'm losing weight again, rapidly. being admitted to hospital because I lost 10 kilograms in 1 week. And the doctors are very alarmed. They start to think about very bad things. But after considering all the options in the hospital, but not considering one thing, my story as a patient, all the empiric tests show nothing. So they decide I have irritable bowel syndrome and probably I'm hypochondriac. And in the letter of discharge, and I have it until today, the doctor writes, stop reading about illnesses on Google. This is the recommendation. This is a very good hospital in Israel, in the city of Haifa. It's a very, very good hospital. They have 2 Nobel Prizes, this research center there. It's affiliated with the Technion in Israel, so unbelievable. I go home, and I start to see more and more doctors because I'm starting to feel bad. Now I cannot walk. After 2 more months, every time I speak more than 10 seconds, I faint. When I try to shower, my legs become red, purple. I know it's blood pooling. The doctor thinks I'm making it up. When I have severe rash, severe urticaria, doctors blame me that I take histamine and rub it all over me, or some sort of flour, really. After a few months that I bug my doctors, they call the police, and they try to charge my parents with Munchausen syndrome, and they claim my parents are abusing me. They sent me to a psychiatrist, and he said, everything is clear. Even though, which is crazy, I probably had severe depression back then. I started to develop agoraphobia because I was too afraid to leave home. I used to faint every time I moved my head. If I change position in the bed, I faint. If I try to press on the remote control like this, I faint. I just can't do anything anymore. So this is how I look in a good month of the illness. I have really bad pictures of me looking like, really like the picture you see from the Holocaust. I completely look like a skeleton. I look very, very ill, but yet doctors who keeps on hearing my story again and again and again and again tells me it's all in my head. And I have anorexia because I'm starving myself and everything is in my head. So I'm embarking on a crusade to prove them wrong and to find the diagnosis. But not before I've seen 32 doctors. 32 doctors. Some of them are the best in the world in their field. I'm so sorry. The doctor number 33 is a world-renowned professor. We wait for 6 months to see him. It's a private doctor. It costs like 300 or 400 euros just to have 15 minutes of his time. This doctor is my only hope in life. And he takes my medical record, you know, we live in the year 2006 or something, medical record are paper-based, yeah? So my father is kind of organized, so he chronologically creates some booklet out of it. But this doctor has no connection to any EMR, any system. He just looks at the pages and say, I know he's my colleague, this test. And he just shut it down and look at my dad. We have a lot of paternalism and machoism in medicine. He looks at my dad, not at my mom and not at me. And he tells him, I've been a doctor for 30 years. I've seen everything. We have sometimes conditions in which it's genetic and we don't know the name. And assuming, maybe, only assuming your son is not lying and is not really an abuse, which I believe here, finally, at least I have something, it's probably a very horrible illness. So my dad says, what do you mean horrible illness? And he says, don't you listen to me, sir. I don't have time for you. I have more patience. Your son is gone. Your son is dead. I'm 25 years old. That's it. Your son will never in his life, but never, and mark my words, never in his life, work a day in his life, marry a woman, or go to university. Never. If he wants, to get out of bed. If he wants, go get him a wheelchair. You should get a nice mattress and nice cable service for him so this kid can grow old with dignity. He didn't even look at my eyes one time. This doctor was my only hope in life. So my dad has to pick me up and carry me through the whole corridor to the car. And I come back home and I have to make the most important decision of my life. Am I going to heal myself or am I going to kill myself? And that night, as a paramedic, with all the knowledge of cases I've seen, I'm planning my suicide because I have no hope anymore. All my friends are on Facebook, going to South America, having fun, have girlfriends, and I can't leave bed. I cannot pee even without help. I cannot do anything. I cannot shower anymore. I lost all dignity in life. But because I'm so proud, if I want to leave bed and go to shower or go to the bathroom, I crawl on the floor for 1 hour so I can do it myself. Because we have a lot of strength and dignity in us. But in that night, I didn't have anything. It was the darkest night of my life. And because I couldn't reach a train track myself, and I couldn't reach the drug cabinet myself, I could not even kill myself because I have no means to get there. So I just sit there and think, what can I do? And I was very lucky that night because my room was dark. I tried to get the light on, and I faint like 3 times, just try to get the light on. And then I see that the only piece of light in the room is on the nightstand, and my brother has bought me a book a week before that. So I kind of, after 20 minutes, reached the book. It's a very short book, and I said, I have nothing to do, let's read this book. And this book saved my life. The book name is A Man's Search for Meaning by Dr. Viktor Frankl. Have you heard about this book? Dr. Viktor Frankl was a Viennese Jewish psychiatrist. He was a prisoner in Auschwitz camp. And he conducted a field research there. And he had a question, who can survive this camp? Of course, if you kill somebody physically, he has no choice. But some people are very strong, they go to work every day and they die. And some people are very weak and they go to work every day and they survive. And he found out that people who had something to hold on to, something to believe in, can survive. And he developed a methodology in psychotherapy called logotherapy. And the base of this therapy is a very simple premise that if you have something to believe in, you can stand anything. And the main term there is responsibility and personal responsibility. And in that night, I decided to take responsibility on my own life and to embrace this term responsibility to change other people's life. And I decided in that night that I'm going to start a revolution from my bed. First of all for me, so I can actually live, and then to prevent from any patient in my condition lying in bed with no diagnosis, when people dismiss him, I will make their life better somehow. I wake up in the morning, afternoon, afterwards, and I am calling all my friends who were already year 4 or 5 in medical school. And I, after a few days, managed to get a lot of materials and eventually the entire curricula of the Tel Aviv University Medical School. And I take 2 years of my life to study medicine. Everything they study in medical school. I read every note from medical school. I learned how to read CT, X-ray, lab results, everything. Because no one believes me, so I said, I will find my own diagnosis. And after 2 years, I believe I found my own diagnosis. But imagine a guy looking like this, back then with a beard and long hair because it's too much to cut and I faint every 2 seconds. I come to my doctor and they laugh in my face. I go to another doctor, they kick me out of the room. The next one threatened to call the police. They called me a homeless and stuff like this. So then I said, okay, I have my diagnosis, but I cannot prove it. So I cannot change my life because I cannot get treatment. So I decided to do something even crazier. I want to prove, like you prove to the judge, to the doctors, that I'm right by using their own weapons against them. Doctors are using something called differential diagnosis. And I believe that if I have all the differential diagnosis covered, they cannot say anything because I did what they're supposed to do. So I go back to the list of doctors I've seen, those 33 doctors, and I find two doctors who are just kind and nice as people. I don't care about their specialty. One is an endocrinologist, one is a dermatologist. And I go back to them. It's very hard. Somebody has to carry me. It's not easy. But after I managed to talk to them, I convinced both of them to risk their professional life and to give me referrals to tests they're not supposed to do in terms of insurance to help me prove to healthcare that I'm actually right. From this moment, healthcare is a supermarket for me. I need products from it. I will build the case. It took me a few more months, almost 6 months. I have all the differential diagnosis. And then I have to look for a doctor who understands or heard about this illness. I don't know if you believe in faith and serendipity. My illness is called dysautonomia. Not familial dysautonomia, because I would have been dead already. It's a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. And it has subgroups. And my sub-syndrome is called POTS syndrome, funny name. Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. It means that every time that I change position, my heart beats so fast that I faint. But there are other symptoms. Mine is immune, so I have mast cell activation and other complications. And I was so deteriorated that I couldn't walk anymore. And when I read about this illness, I found out that mostly it's been researched by NASA, because when astronauts come back from space station, at the beginning they couldn't walk. That's why you see them exercise in space. So it's the same mechanism of deterioration of the muscular tissues of the lower legs. This is one of the keys to getting better. This illness takes 5 minutes to diagnose in every doctor's office using a blood pressure device. I spent 7 years in bed and almost 10 years with rehabilitation. I wasted the most beautiful years of my life. From the first second in the army, I told the same story. When I lecture to medical students today, half of them raise their hand and say it's dysautonomia. Why? Because we raised awareness. But because doctors are busy looking at screens, you see their eyebrows, you don't see their faces. Their EMR systems are so shitty, that they spend 60% of their time typing instead of listening to you and being clinicians. And no one of those amazing 33 doctors even thought about autonomic nervous system. The only doctor in Israel that knew how to diagnose this, because he did a fellowship in America, his office is in the same building I lived for all those 7 years. This is crazy, right? This is serendipity. But there's probably a reason why I had to go through this illness. I talked to this doctor after a lot of convincing. He sent me to a test, a tilt table testing. They put you on a table, they lift you up, they take some measurements of ECG and blood pressure. I'm diagnosed after 30 seconds into the tests. I wasted, again, 7 years of my life. I'm becoming from the crazy patient to the too sick patient now. Nobody wants to treat me. No rehabilitation center, no hospital, no physical therapist, no dentist. Even when I want to do a filling, they bring an anesthesiologist to keep me, because now I'm a celebrity patient. Let's bring the medical students, right? What do I do with DIY medicine? I have to design my own rehabilitation plan. And I have to teach myself how to walk because nobody wants to help me. So I spent the next year teaching myself how to move my legs in bed, and after a few months to actually sit in bed, and after a few weeks actually standing 20 seconds without fainting, and after 7 more months, I'm walking 5 kilometers a day by myself. everything by myself. Not one single health professional helped me. Why do I tell you this story? How come it's even related to startups? We have to have an aim. I wanted to do a revolution because people around the world, tens of thousands of people are lying in bed for years without diagnosis. We have a lot of suicide cases with my illness because the average time of diagnosis is 5 years. I was alone. I had nobody to talk to. First thing I do, I established the Israeli Society of Dysautonomia. We have a community of a few hundred patients. We set up a clinic in the Sheba Medical Center. It's the number 9 hospital in the world, in Tel Aviv. For 5 years, diagnosis in Israel now is 3 months, including rehabilitation program. In 6 months, most of the patients are on their feet. Awareness, first of all. Education for doctors. I train medical students, nurses, doctors for better communication and better understanding of what it's like to be a patient. Every year of my life, I take 2 challenges. One technological in healthcare and one social in healthcare. And every year, since I get better, I start at least 2 projects. One startup, one charity. I founded few charities in Israel to educate and prevent, first of all, because I don't like it when doctors putting out symptoms like firefighters. We need to do more prevention. But we should also provide them with digital tools and devices to help them. So I founded 4 startups up to today, in the few years that I can walk again. It took me a few years, but the last startup that is called Valero Clinical is not now active in the US. And we find the pain point that causes doctors and patients not to communicate. And we take their shitty EMR system and we automate everything that distracts the doctor from the patient, giving doctors FaceTime with the patient and also red flaggings for rare conditions like this. Eventually, this is my passion. You started your startup because of passion, and usually health entrepreneurs have their own pain story from their family members or from their own story. I urge you to never forget why you started, because this is a very, very unique field in tech. We are not here to make money, most of us. We're here to really make a change. And like dear Ivana said, that the patients are waiting. Patients are waiting. Every day that we don't release our products, patients are suffering. I was honored in the last year to have a crazy idea of mine come to life. In one of my talks, I talked about healthcare improvement with officials in Austria. And I said that I had an idea that every organization that deals with patients, pharma company, hospital, research institute, if you have a chief medical officer, you should have a chief patient officer. You should have a patient in residence. And somebody in Austria thought it's not that crazy. And I was honored to serve in the last year as the first ever patient in residence for the Ludwig Boltzmann Institute in Austria, making it probably the first patient in the world to serve as a senior member of board and decision-making, policy-making in a health research organization. For me, it was a completion of all the circles of being a policymaker, clinician, because I was a paramedic, and a patient. And I'm doing patient advocacy, but mainly I'm trying to create more evolutions from more beds, from the patient beds. And I want to say something that is very important for you to understand about how powerful you are as entrepreneurs. I was my own startup. I designed my own roadmap. I'm my greatest exit. The fact that I can walk is an exit. Most of my friends with my illness are now with wheelchairs or walkies. This is a very debilitating disease. I was the first one in Israel who got 100% disability for this. If I can stand here for half an hour and talk to you, you can really change the world. You can start revolution from your beds or from your office or no matter where, but everything you do in your project can impact and change the life of a patient, and never forget it. Thank you very much. My voice is kind of almost dead, finally. Do you have any questions?
We can leave questions for networking if you're...
Sure, if somebody wants private, of course, but if you have a question for the... Usually people have questions, but you're probably kind of shocked from this strange story. And I'm okay, I'm standing, I'm walking. All I need is a kebab. How do you call this? Yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need, kebab, and I'll be okay. And please follow me on social media. We're making revolutions with my charities. And yeah, if you need any help with your startup, that's what I'm here for. Is that a rare disease? Oh, it's a good question. We have a struggle now with our patient societies. It became from a rare disease to a not rare disease. When we were rare, it was kind of sexy, but now it's not 5 to 100,000, it's 17 for 100,000. So people kind of blame us, oh, this is too common. Depends on the country. In America, it's just crazy because one of the reasons for these syndromes, one of the origins is Lyme disease. It's one of the causes. And it's just insane what's going on now. Even in Austria, you start to see cases. And in many countries, you don't have doctors who know how to treat dysautonomia. I'm working with Austrian people and Turkish people to establish the local societies to make this awareness, because it's very important for people to get diagnosed fast, because otherwise you need to spend a lot of time rehabilitating. Yes, more questions? It's amazing I have a voice. I've been to 9 countries. I've been to a desert and then to Finland, and I lost my voice, but I hope you could understand me. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
It's time to meet this year's finalists. So every team will briefly explain their business idea during the 2-minute pitch now. And I will call Team Tableta to join us.
Hello, everyone. Well, it's hard to follow up Roy's story, so at first I thought you're going to be lucky to be first, but now it's kind of a challenge. Thank you for that. Well, my name is, I'm Mijat, and I come with the team Naopako, and we have created the app Tableta, a healthcare central. It's to be a one-stop solution for healthcare needs. So it's kind of an assistant and a companion. It's health educator and also a health data analyst. So Tableta, the healthcare central, with its many features, it improves medication therapy adherence. It provides the social network for people with similar health conditions. And also it is a source of let's say, health indicators and medication data. We also have drug interactions, as you talked about, and drug screening possibilities. Through Tableta, our team is striving to make it easier for people to deal with their chronic health conditions, and also to help everyone understand and, whenever possible, prevent the development of chronic diseases. So that's our short few minutes. Thank you for that.
Thank you. The next one is industrial analytics.
So, hello everyone, I'm David from Industrial Analytics. And for the last 2 years, we have been developing an equipment maintenance management software specifically for the needs of healthcare institutions. So our goal was to bring a new approach into asset maintenance management in the healthcare. This approach has already been transforming the way maintenance is being done in some other industries, but the healthcare is lagging behind. So basically, our system, instead of being an additional administrative tool only for the tech department of the hospital, it incorporates all the actors of the maintenance cycle. So from the nurses all the way to the top management. And this way we can automate a huge part of the data entry, and plus our algorithms can analyze this data in order to help the management optimize its maintenance operations in the hospital. This way we can improve patient safety, regulatory compliance, and bring huge cost savings to the hospital. So it has been an action-packed 2 years. Our system is already being used by some of the biggest healthcare institutions in Serbia, and we had some amazing partners during these 2 years to whom we are very grateful. Among them are the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, the Innovation Fund of Serbia, and also General Electric Healthcare. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. The next one is Baby FM.
Hello everyone, my name is Tamara, and before I start, I will ask you one question. How many of you here are parents? Great. That means that probably you're remembering well a sleepless night when your baby got fever and a temperature, and the same situation was also with our co-founder, Ivan Soldatovic, when he realized that he shares the same problem with a lot of parents around the globe. So that's how the idea of Baby FM was born, and we decided to create a monitoring system which will continuously monitor temperature body of the babies, and also allow you to get notification when the fever episode starts on your mobile phones, so the parents can sleep before the next episode of temperature starts, and also allow you to get reports of fever episodes on your mobile phone and track medicine that you gave to your babies. And we are trying to attract a market of baby care industry, pharma, and telemedicine. And in the end, I want to present you my team. That's Ivan Soldatovic. I'm sorry. He is a teaching assistant of medical statistics and at the Institute for Medical Statistics, and Vladimir Jevtovic, he is senior developer. He was working in Amazon. And my name is Tamara Jakovic. I'm PhD candidate in sensor technologies and responsible for business development in our team. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara. Let's hear OT Center now.
Hello everyone. My name is Miroslav Sudar, and I'm one of the founders of the OT Center, whose focus is at mental health. So, Mental Health VR is a virtual reality concept aimed at persons who, due to certain factors, have problems in mental health or rehabilitation. Mental Health VR enables virtual reality programs to upgrade therapeutic process used in the treatment or prevention of certain health problems through an innovative approach. Mental Health VR can be implemented in areas such as healthcare, social, and educational systems. The concept is conceived as a product that can be used in the three important segments of that form a large part of health, social, and educational systems. So these are phobias, addiction disorders, and extremity amputations. The specificity of Mental Health VR system is that the hardware technology already exists. So we don't have any excessive investment in the terms. On the other hand, software solutions include adaptation of our living environment, allowing users for more realistic view and, let's say, more convincing system of therapy treatments. In that way, we are just exhaling speeding up the rehabilitation process. Basically, we artificially causing the problems that we want to deal with, and under controlled conditions with ability to manage the stress levels. Stress levels. The significance of the mental health VR system is that within the public or private sector, it has the ability to save money on the treatments, reduces rehabilitation time. We have ability to step up towards the user. It's portable, and there is possibility of constant upgrading hardware and software, which allows us a long time of exploitation of the system itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's meet the team Perun.
Hello everyone, we are Team Perun, and we are developing a device called AmpLife, which is used as preparation for DNA analysis. AmpLife is a portable thermal cycler device, which is used for amplifying DNA sequences on the spot, be it a rain-down forest or a rundown motel room. We are solving a problem for biologists, for forensic investigators, and for veterinarians. For example, forensic investigators have a big problem from conducting the analysis on the crime spot. With AmpLife, they can fix this problem and do the analysis on the spot, which disputes the possibility of regarding evidence being not collected fairly. We are a team of 4 members of University of Belgrade, 2 biologists, 1 software engineer, and 1 electrotechnician. Unlike our competition, which provides big cumbersome machines which are meant to be placed in a room and never be moved again, or portable devices which depend on external power supply. In other words, they have to be connected to a laptop. AmpLife is a device which is fully autonomous. It has its own power supply and onboard logic, and it doesn't have to be connected to a laptop. We enjoy mentorship from a lot of experts in Serbia, a lot of government organizations and institutes. Join us and amplify life with AmpLife. Thank you.
Our next finalist is ICG HIP.
Hello, I'm Simon Sedmak, and the problem that my team and myself are solving is related to the failure of prosthetic hip implants due to fatigue. Our solution is to find the optimized geometry of the hip in terms of its neck thickness, because if we just increase the neck thickness, the working life of the hip will increase, but the mobility and the angle of movement will decrease. So we're basically trying to find a compromise between structural integrity and the functionality and the ergonomics of the hips. And we believe that numerical simulations are a very good way to do that, because they provide us with a quick and efficient way to test different models to change the geometry as needed. And for this purpose, we also intend to use CAD models that will be developed based on 3D scanning technologies. And of course, in addition to all of the previously mentioned steps, there would also be the additive manufacturing stage in which these hip implants would be made. Our target market would typically include regional companies that offer the services of 3D printing, and of course various health institutions that can use these products. Initially, our plan is to manufacture the wax molds of these hips, and then at a later stage, possibly while cooperating with some of the bigger global companies, to finally manufacture these implants from the actual titanium alloys and to use them in personalized applications. So that's it in short. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Let's meet Take Care.
Hello everyone. So first of all, I would like to tell you that our journey began with a story. So I'd like to share this story with you. So one day, my friend Voislav's grandmother got sick because she felt ill because she forgot to take her medicine on time. That happens to everyone, but she panicked and grabbed her plastic medical box where all people keep their medicine. And because she panicked, she actually took the wrong dose of medicine. She took much of her medicine, and it was bad. But long story short, if it wasn't for our friend's father, it would have ended badly. But she's fine. And when he told us this story, we wanted to tackle this problem. So we first did some research in our hometown. We interviewed over 100 seniors in our town niche, and we also talked to the medical staff in hospitals and gerontological centers, and we found three things out. First of all, people have a tendency to forget to take their medicine on time or to take their medicine at all. Second thing is that they usually take the wrong dose of their medicine, and the third thing is that they have the tendency sometimes to drink the wrong medicine. So we made it our mission to help people take medicine correctly and also to make peace in minds of people who take care of those people. So my team, Take Care, created the Medical Smart Dispenser, which dispenses the correct amount of medicine to the at the correct time, at the correct dose to its users, and also because it is connected to our mobile application, mobile and web application, it also tells their caretakers whether the people who use the box, who use the dispenser, actually took the medicine, and puts their mind at ease. Thank you.
Thank you. The next team is 3. I guess we will see the 3 of them.
Okay, hello everyone. It would be kind of sad for only one of us to show up, so we had to do all 3. So, hi, my name is Peter. This is Natasha, and this is Lazar. Our goal is to make a revolutionary software that will help people with physical impairment. In the world, there is about 600 million, at least 600 million people who have some kind of physical difficulty. And that number can go as high as 1.5 billion, which is roughly 20% of the world's population.
Looking at this, we wanted to find a way to help. And after a lot of thinking, this was our solution. Using an AR headset with eye tracking, working symbiotically with a smart home system. Long story short, a person wearing the headset equipped with our software would through it gain control of every single electronic device in their household. And in essence, it would provide full control to a person otherwise, maybe even fully lacking the ability to move.
At first, we were surprised to discover that there are no applications based around our idea that already exist on the market. While we were researching about the topic, we found out that the awareness is low, so we decided to raise it in our town. That resulted us in being on newspapers, TV news, radio talk shows, and so on. All those things gave us feedback from the very people who we were trying to reach. Their stories and their support gave us the motivation to make the change. We hope that with enough support, we will be able to make the difference together. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Let's get to know more about personal AI pancreas.
Hello, everybody. My name is Milan Papulic, and I'm a member of Personal AI Pancreas. Idea is started from my illness. I'm diabetic, and I have problem with the dose of insulin and the food which I have to take. In the last few years, continuous measurement of glucose level is much easier, and I started to follow my data. After, let's say, 30,000 data which I collect, I saw that my blood sugar was much better, let's say about 6%, what is very good result, but I have a high peaks and low peaks in glucose level, and that is the problem. We decide to make an AI model which help us to predict the level of glucose in the next 2 hours, so we can play with the dose and make and remove makes from the curve of the glucose level, if you understand me. So that's the base idea. That's the first phase. The next phase will be portal, which will give the advantage and the suggestion to the patient how to work on the same way. This is not insulin pump. This is for people which take insulin a few times per day. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Meet Dr. Yun.
Good evening. My name is Vuk. I'm a medical doctor, have been that for about 15 years now. Had 4 near-death experiences, just like yourself. Worked in a private practice, worked in a public hospital, and figured out that we have a real disassociation problem between the doctor and the patient. It's difficult for the patient to get in contact with the doctor, and it's difficult for the doctor to keep all of the data that the patient needs. So we built Doctorium. Doctorium is a solution for both sides of the table, for the patient and for the physician. It is a proprietary algorithm which enables the patient to sort of self-diagnose and be pointed in the right direction where to make an appointment. But also it is an electronic health record system which we try and utilize to avoid exactly the situations that you faced, and that is for the doctor to sit and look at the screen instead of talking to the patient. So basically, if you imagine a situation that we all know personally or we are related to it, an IVF, a couple that has a problem with an IVF, they usually carry around 30, 40, 50 different pieces of paper around. Just imagine if one of these things are lost. It's life endangering. So with Doctorium, they are able to carry it as a patient within their mobile phone, fully GDPR compliant, fully data protected, encrypted. Even we don't see the data. And on the other side, there is a physician who has, at the moment of appointment, all of the data that they need from the patient, all of the anamnesis, and everything available for them to provide the best level of care. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. The next finalist is laser for microscopy.
That's not bad. We're actually Center for Laser Microscopy, but laser for microscopy. Okay, so I'm Pavle Andjus. I'm a professor of School of Biology and head of the center. So a question for you. Who of you knows what is ALS? Okay. It's a rare disease, but this part knows about it. So, but it's a killing disease. So it killed Mao Zedong, it killed the actor David Niven, it killed the jazz musician Charlie Mingus, and it killed, unfortunately, Hawking recently, and it killed also Lou Gehrig, the famous legend of baseball in USA. That's why it's called in USA Lou Gehrig's disease. This is a disease we've studied a long time. I studied it myself as a postdoc somewhere in Italy, and I introduced this topic to my lab in Belgrade. And there's a lot of young people that are actually part of this team. We have already some PhDs done on studying the cellular mechanisms of this terrible disease and trying to find the markers of the disease. And along this process, we discovered it's a very complex disease. So we found a lot of interesting information about the disease, but we didn't know how we can use it. So we formed actually a group of people, not just from my School of Biology, but also from the Electrotechnical School, from the Machine
engineering school and from Institute of Physics. We formed a group of multidisciplinary people. We actually got some European projects to develop actually a device where we can use all this knowledge we collected in the course of time and put it on a small lab on chip. Actually, it's in my pocket. This is my lab. Just a second. So it's actually a holder where it can stand on your palm, and it's a holder which should connect a microfluidic chip. And this is our bench where we'll test physiological responses of immunoglobulins from patients or even sera from patients. So this is a physiological response. It's not just when you measure bands or something in spectrum. It's actually physiology. So we want to we know many different physiological responses, and we want to put them all on this holder. And we then have to build, of course, and we already are doing this, kind of a flow system where you apply, you record by microscopy, because you have here holes where you can measure fluorescence, all measured by fluorescent probes. And then you can, of course, do the software to collect information. Before, of course, you have to have a very fine integrated microscopy system. That's why this guys from the photonics group joined us from Institute of Physics. And then, of course, software to analyze all this and make a complex, let's say, ID of a very complex disease, which would help to understand better the disease and hopefully also adjust the therapy, because now the therapy is the same for all. So we want to show that this disease, we already know it's a very complex disease, and we want to have an idea of this disease, which will be here for each patient. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next one is GastroGen.
Hello, my name is Jelena, and I'm a member of GastroGen team. Do you know that every fifth person has functional dyspepsia, and that more than 50% of those population use chronic therapy in order to treat symptoms such as pain or discomfort in abdomen with or without nausea, vomiting, and belching? Now, imagine that this is the stomach of the person with functional dyspepsia. His or her life quality is diminished. And now imagine that safe, effective, and innovative product was formulated. Water in oil, in water, double emulsions are systems into which it's possible to incorporate gastroprotective extract of yellow gentian and olive oil with anti-inflammatory action and with lipophilic active compounds, as well as alginates, which are making good barrier between stomach and esophagus. However, these systems are unstable, but by drying of these systems, it is possible to obtain gastroretentive solid lipid particles which will float continuously in the stomach, therefore improving bioavailability and therapy outcomes. Thank you.
Last one is Wet Guide.
Hello everyone, I'm Alex from WetGuide. First of all, I will ask you a simple question. There is more like a rhetorical question. I assume you here all love pets, don't you? Yeah. So now imagine a situation where you bring your pet to the vet, and after receiving a treatment, the situation is getting worse. So what's the problem here? The vet industry in final years is having a rapid growth, and this rapid growth has a price. Around 15% of all animals in vet care are treated badly. So also there is a problem of veterinarians who cannot find a proper drug with a specific indication. Also, it's hard for vets to find a proper dosage, to calculate the proper dosage. And our teams gather around this idea to build up an app that will provide algorithm search for drug by indication, counterindication, active substance, and by name. After finding a proper drug, you can compare it with different drugs, and after this process, you can have an automated calculation of dosage. Our app is meant to make the vet's life easier because they are overwhelmed with new responsibilities. Their job scope is a lot bigger now, and our targeted markets for now are UK and US, and we plan to acquire around 13,000 users in 3 years of our development. During this time, we also plan to implement some new features such as AI diagnostics and electronic record for all patients, for all pets. That would be all. Thank you.
Thank you to all the teams, and thank you to all of you for being part of this program. I will now call you to enjoy the cocktail and to make good connections. Thank you.